there's plenty of different play calls, but at the end of the day, our tracks are similar, our targets are similar.
Joined now by Seahawks offensive coordinator Klint Kubiak, live from Seahawks training camp at Virginia Mason Athletic Center. Klint, I'll let you know, we have a couple questions from listeners we'll get to at the end.
Okay,
so
sounds good.
We left this one open to some Seahawks fans that wanted to ask you a few. We'll start with ours, though. And one of mine is, I think that when you ask people, hey, what's the goal of your offense or your team? Obviously to win games and score points. But I find that coordinators also have really specific goals about a feeling that they want or a vibe. Like if you ask a defensive coordinator, he might say, my goal is to be chaotic or have violence. What's your goal for your offense?
Well, I would go back to Coach Macdonald's goal is for us to be connected. That's a really big thing that he harps, and it's a big part of how we meet. And so it's really important that we meet together quite a bit offensively, that we're all on the same page, we're all speaking the same language, we're holding each other accountable together. The quarterback knows the tackle's responsibility, the tight ends know what the receiver's route adjustments are, and so it's being connected is really important for us right now.
I've fallen in love with the tight end position over the last couple of years, and then watching how you use them over with the Saints. I'm starting to see what your goal is here. Like physically and mentally, what do you need from your tight end? Because I feel like they're going to be a big part of your offense this year.
Yeah, they're some of the smartest guys on the team because they're involved in every facet of the game, blocking protections, run game, ID, getting open in the pass game, seeing coverage. So you got to be really intelligent to play that position and just a really physical player, and we have some very physical guys, which we're really excited about.
Branching off from Bump's question, would you mind talking about maybe each of those guys, beginning with obviously Barner, who's been here a year now, and then you obviously have Arroyo. AJ has had a really good camp, and every opportunity that he's had, he's made to play. A lot of contested plays, but he's doing a lot of dirty work blocking in the run game that's helping us spring some big runs. And I just love his mentality. He's all football. He loves the game, loves to compete. And he's just one of my favorite guys out there because when he gets going, he gets excited. The whole group just starts to light up. And we have a guy named Eric Saubert, a veteran that's playing really good football that is a really great role model for Elijah and the young guys because he's exactly what a pro should do, how he approaches the game, and just his overall physicality.
One of the things I love about football and receivers in general is that football, you can find every type of man out there. The big, wide one, the small, skinny one, and especially at receiver. I look at your receiver core, and we spoke to MVS about this. You got a bunch of different type of receivers that bring different things to the table. What does that versatility do for you when you're calling plays?
Yeah, we got guys that can take the top off. We got guys that are really good inside. We got guys that do both really well, and we're really honestly moving them around a lot to see to get a better feel for what they do best. But I think overall the coolest thing about our receiver group is that they've really bought into the run game, and they have been really physical and helping us spring some big runs, and that helps them a lot in the play-action game. So Coach Frisman Jackson does a phenomenal job of making them complete receivers.
Speaking of moving them around, I was out here day one, and I saw so many formations, so much movement, and I told myself, this doesn't look like a day one of training camp. It felt like you got so much in already. Was that because of the work that they did in OTAs and minicamp, and have you been this far ahead before in a training camp?
No, I think it's just a credit to we have some really intelligent guys. We put a lot on their plate, and we really throw a lot at them, way more than we would in one game plan. And we see what they can absorb and what they can take into practice, and that gives us good intel for what we can take into a game. But that's part of the plan is to make it harder on them, and our guys have done a great job responding.
We were speaking with Jake Bobo the other day, and he said one thing he really loves and appreciates about Mike Macdonald is this kind of open door policy of if you have a question, stop by my office. And I was surprised in our interviews with your guys' players how many guys are getting one-on-one time with coaches and coordinators. Do you have a similar kind of open door policy? And if so, who visits you the most?
Yeah, I think we're connected. We're a team. It's none of us can be successful without the other. So I think that's something that Mike really, the culture that he's built here, that's something that we're about as coaches upstairs. If we don't see guys coming and seeing us, we think that's probably a bad thing. They don't have any questions. So it starts from the top down. And, we got some really good guys like Jake Bobo and Cooper Kupp, A.J. Barner,
Charbonnet. Like, these guys are pros, and they want to get better, and being great is really important to them, and they will do whatever it takes, and that includes coming upstairs and having some good conversations.
That's cool.
Everyone talks about the wide zone, and I remind people, I guarantee you Kubiak's going to call more than just the wide zone, but that's probably going to be the jab that he throws at teams to kind of loosen them up a little bit. What do you like so much about the wide zone, and how does it set up everything else you're trying to do?
Yeah, well, I think you got to have a starting point, right? And that's our starting point, and we got plays off those runs. But the ability to give guys some pretty clear, concise, consistent coaching points that we can call one run probably 7 different ways, but it's always the same coaching point for the back, or always the same way that the line's blocking in certain fronts. So we can give them cumulative reps to start building confidence. I think that's what's cool about the scheme is there's plenty of different play calls, but at the end of the day, our tracks are similar, our targets are similar. How we teach the quarterback to boot away is similar, and how the keepers should match those, and our play actions should match the inside zone. So this is something we preach all the time, is that, if it's all looking the same, then we'll be hard to defend. If we start giving tells away, then we're going to be in trouble.
How are you feeling about your O-line?
I feel great. Our guys are doing a great job. Charles Cross obviously had a little setback, but he's going to be back. He's a great leader. We have some position battles going on there. It's very competitive, which makes for very spirited practices.
This question is from my son. So I told him I was going to interview you yesterday. And I go, what do you want me to ask him? And he just came back from a tournament. And I wasn't there. I'm talking to him. I'm like, how you feeling? How you feeling? He goes, Dad, I was in the flow state. I was feeling it, boom, boom. He goes, ask Coach what it feels like when he's in the flow state calling games. Like, what does that feel like?
Yeah, it's just like you in your playing days, when the game gets going and you're just reacting, and you can kind of just feel that who's in the game. I'm getting a feel for who's in the game and who we're trying to get the ball to, and what the defense is doing. There's substitution patterns, and those are things you work on with your coaching staff throughout the week. And you try to play the game way before you get on the field, and you get your call sheet out. And we've already talked about these problems, and now we're just solving them in real time. But hopefully there's not many surprises, because that's what the week's for.
On the flip side, all right, now sometimes there are surprises, right? I was telling Stacy, you come out on your game plan on 1st and 10, when this down and distance, this is what we expect the defense to line up in. Then they come out in something different. What's the communication like with you and your coaching staff to kind of prepare those guys for a situation that you necessarily didn't prepare for?
Yeah, I think that's a big part of the NFL evolving right now. Defenses do that. That's just part of the norm, just the amount of fronts and coverages that we get. So that's things we're always talking about upstairs in our meeting rooms is, okay, here's what we expect. What do we do when they change defense personnel, or they get into a different front, or we get this pressure? What's our can? What's the alert? Or how do we call a play that defeats all those things so our players can play fast? So those are just conversations we're always having.
We had a listener who wanted to know, and this might be part of your answer, how a defensive head coach contributes to the offensive plan. And I think that they mean that in multiple ways. So it could be sitting down, right, and saying, like, do you ever sit with Mike Macdonald and it's like, well, how would you beat this?
Yeah.
Or, like, what do those conversations look like?
No, every day, Coach has really made myself and our staff so much better, because he asks some really hard questions, and he demands answers and have the right ones. So he puts a lot of strain on us to make sure we're covering all our bases. And every day in practice, they got something new that goes in that gives us problems. So they just make us a lot better. We have an elite defense, so offensively, it's going to make us all more successful this year because we face it every day.
I told Stacy in those situations, I just want to be the last coach with a marker in my hand. You know what I mean? Because it feels like the one who finishes will have the win in that situation. But talk to me about the young Milroe. I think I want to give props to Drew Lock. A lot of people skip over Drew Lock, obviously, because you got Sam Darnold and you draft Milroe. So big ups to Drew Lock. I think he looks good out here today. But how has Milroe grown over the past couple of weeks?
Yeah, he's grown quite a bit. Since the moment he got here, he lives in this building. He is tireless. He's, when the guys go home, he's here doing the virtual reality on his own. It's really important to him to be successful, and he's going to give every ounce of his ability to make sure that happens. And he does it all with a phenomenal attitude and big heart. So I really enjoyed coaching him.
Do you put on the VR too?
I've tried it, but no.
Not for you.
We got other stuff to do. We got the film to watch.
We had another listener who, given you guys are focusing a lot on reestablishing your run game this year, they just want to know to you what qualities make up an elite running back in today's game.
Number one is intelligence. Number two is longevity, or just availability, guys that are available for the whole game. The best backs that I've been around are super smart. The guys that can we give them difficult game plans and they can go out and make adjustments. And then we got, our top two guys are doing some really good things. But, Devin Charbonnet, the way that his mental approach to the game is extremely impressive. He does not flinch. If he ever has a question, you didn't coach it good enough because he's that on it. So really been impressed with him.
Do you have a coach that you kind of lean on whenever you need some advice? That's not on the staff, maybe someone out in the league.
No, our staff is phenomenal. I lean on every one of our guys. But always my dad's always one call away, staying in touch with him. But usually when he calls, we try to keep it more about life and less about football.
I feel that.
Yeah.
Probably good to get a reprieve in general because there's probably a lot that you want to talk about when it comes to life, kind of outside of the game in general. Last one for me. We had a great conversation with Cooper Kupp about just how the league has evolved and what he really appreciates about it. And I'm wondering for you, what you just really appreciate about even the last, I feel like 5, 6, 7 years, kind of what the league has become and what you've really taken from it and appreciate about it.
Yeah, I think there's just so many more people involved. There's our coaching staffs are really big, and there's so many ways to utilize everybody on the staff. There's so much film to watch. It's not just a 4-game breakdown anymore. You got to break down every game they play. You got to know everything that they've done. There's no excuse for not knowing situations that could come up because it's just all cataloged on the film so quickly. So I just think that the data side of the game has made the game change quite a bit.
Last one for me. How's your family liking it up here? I know we talked to you when you first landed. It felt like you were just here for hours, and then we're asking you all these questions about Seattle. But how's the fam doing, and how are they liking it up here?
Yeah, no, thanks for asking that. They're loving it. Yeah, we've had a beautiful summer here. My kids got to come out to 2 practices and see their smiles on their face when they see, all the players out here and getting to Coach Macdonald. Lets the families come out, and that's just, not every team does that. So you don't get much time with your family, so when you get to see your kids before practice and you see them interact with players after practice, it just really lifts me up. I told our guys the other day, they have no idea how big of an effect they have on these kids when they go and sign a kid's hat. Just to see their face light up, my kid's face light up, it just changes their whole day. So we just remind those guys that, hey, this is way more bigger than football. It's bigger than your job, and having an impact on young people is a huge blessing that they get to give every day.
I feel like the best thing is to look at the kids after the players walked away, and they're usually just looking around in awe. I can't believe it. Coach, we're staying in segment, but we appreciate your time. You've been very generous. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.